You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Okay, now look, in the house at the minute is Ivan and Dick from Muff and Ivan from The World and Sue Stanley OAM. And on the line is the great Doug Hawkins. He's he's got a job, and that's why he's on the line, unlike any of us here. And we've already spoken to the King, the Duck, Wayne Carey and Jeff Fennick, who are ensconced over in
Bangkok.
They're over there, so we already spoken to them earlier this morning because they had to get up at 4 a.m. sometime. Anyhow, they were vaguely making sense. No, they were good. So there's just, and we've already spoken to I've already interviewed a woman called Gigi. Her name is, I can't think of her surname, Christian name.
Al-Khazali.
Anyhow.
Up there, Khazali.
Yeah. What is her bloody name? Anyhow, she's very. So we've had a chat to her about the ether and the cosmos and
ether.
Everything.
Very cosmic.
Yeah. So there we are. So good on you, Doug. Now I just want. What?
I'm actually here, Sam. Yeah. Go on.
I said good on you, Doug.
Oh, sorry, Sam. Go on.
What do you think
One
I
of the
said?
longest introductions I've ever heard. One of the longest introductions I've ever heard, Sam, from you.
Go ahead. What did you have on your mind?
Are we still on air? Come on. Are we on air?
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
mate, go. Let's do it.
Hey, listen, Sam, before you go ahead.
No, you're going ahead, Doug. You just
Did you watch the AFL Women's Footy Grand Final?
Well, there's a good question. The Duck asked me to watch it to see what I thought of it, and he said it should have been moved from Princess Park to play in Marvel because it was sold out, and why didn't the AFL move it there? And I watched the first half of it. I did.
Yep. What do you make of it, Sam?
What do I make of it?
Yeah, what do you
Well,
make
as
of
it turned out, in a lot of the AFL games I kept an eye on during the season, it wasn't it was fairly reminiscent of most of the AFL games that were played. Disjointed, lacking in sort of skills, lacking in a pattern of play, not that physical. In fact, it was more physical than the AFL games.
Yeah, no, it was a very
Umpired
low
badly.
scoring. It was a low scoring game, wasn't it?
It was, Doug, yeah.
Tell me the score. What was it? 9 points to 39.
9 and North Melbourne
9
have hung their
points,
hat
one
on.
goal.
North Melbourne have hung their hat on. It's the first premiership they've won, and they've got silverware trophies made for the cabinet and everything. And this is the women have brought them glory. The great North Melbourne side, which the Duck played in 2 grand finals, and he couldn't get over the fact that they've won another premiership. Could you believe it?
Well, it's amazing, boys, isn't it? Dick, Ivan, Sam, and Sue.
Sue, yes, that's got us
now,
all.
now, thank you, Sam. Now, tell me if I'm wrong here. There's a young girl who played for the Kangaroos who's a 3-time premiership player with 3 different clubs.
Yes.
Is that right?
No, you're telling us, Doug. It's obviously right, or you wouldn't have said it.
Well, I'm led to believe that is correct.
What are the clubs? What are the clubs,
Well,
Dougie?
the clubs are Melbourne, Footscray and North Melbourne, Western Bulldogs. And I've done an assessment of that, and the young girl, I'm led to believe, only played 70 games, but she's a 3-time premiership player. That's great loyalty.
Why has she moved from club to club in that short space of time?
I'm not sure. Don't forget they only play 8 games a year. So if my mathematics tells me correctly, she
Is it true? She's done 9 years?
Every 10 years. Every what?
Yeah. She's played 20 years.
Yeah. So why has she?
20 years, Sam.
So the same rules don't apply in the women as they do in the men. You can just move club willy nilly, can you? Just
go anywhere. You can go anywhere you want to go, Sam, and that's how it is. So congratulations to her.
Yeah. She'd move for the money, obviously. Like, you wouldn't move just for better facilities or anything
Ivan?
like that.
Was that you, Ivan?
Yeah, that was me.
For the money.
Move for the money, Dougie.
Oh, that's cynical.
What did I get paid? What did I get paid, Ivan?
Bottle tops, isn't it? Bottle tops?
No, they draw a good wage, pretty well.
How much?
Yeah, you got me, Dougie. I think it's $1 million a season.
Million, yeah.
Upwards of 80,000 a year, I reckon.
Yeah.
There we go.
Not bad, Sue, but that's not bad money, is it? That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yep.
80 grand. Yeah.
I asked the Duck. He said he was speaking to Craig Starcevich and Darren Crocker, who happened to be the respective coaches of the women. I said, why aren't the women coaching the women? Hello?
Well, Daisy Pearce is coaching the Melbourne Legends Premiership player.
Are there any women coaching AFL football?
Well, there is in the VFL. There will be next
I'm going
year.
to repeat that question, Doug. Are there any AFL women coaching AFL sides?
No.
Well,
No,
in this age of diversity and inclusion and equity, why are the women being coached by men?
How about trans?
Oh, no.
Can't we have a trans coach?
Well, that would still be a man.
You're right. That's trick
No,
question.
there's a girl.
Even if
there's
you
a
cut
lady-
his agates off and remove his snag, he is still a man. And he could shower with them as well. Scrub their backs,
Oh, yeah.
shave them.
You can just see it now.
Yep.
I knew we'd go to a low standard. Seriously, I knew
There's a
we'd go
mental
to a low
picture.
standard.
I'm going to correct
Sue?
myself. In 2025, the soft cap for the AFLW will be increased to $100,000 per player.
Gee, that's good money, Sue, isn't it?
I reckon I'm going to go into start some
reckon you could.
AFLW because I get a carer's wage at the moment. What's that only about? I don't know, zero, isn't it?
A carer's wage. Yeah, that's care. Yeah. Yeah, fucking carer's wage.
Bring on the training.
So it's a bit of
Go
a.
on.
Go on.
Go on, Sam. Go on.
Well-
Yeah. So anyway, that for me, the kick one goal in the grand final is pretty ordinary. I think that's just.
Is it true that a group of teenage boys beat a women's team, or was that soccer? It was some game I heard about where a women's professional team, whether it was soccer or Aussie rules, played like a group of teenage boys.
I think that was the doc a few weeks ago talking about that. It was soccer in Sydney, and it was
there you go.
and it wasn't a full.
The Matildas got beaten.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't at that
By
level.
Chinese
Dougie.
Chinese Taipei beat them. Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me.
They'll get beaten tonight. Don't worry about that.
Well, will they? The Matildas?
They got bashed up. They got bashed up by Brazil.
They
They were
had
too
one.
physical.
To tell me if I've got this wrong, I don't want to be a naysayer, but they played one good game in the World Cup, and they went from. And then since then, they've gone missing, haven't they?
Duck egg.
Hey.
Well, the best players been out.
In jail.
What's her name?
Sam Kerr.
Sam Kerr. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ivan.
Yeah, I think she's still before the court, or that's still to happen.
Oh, she's not in jail.
No, she's not
What
in
do you mean?
jail.
What did she do? What did she do?
Beat up and verbaled a
Taxi driver.
Police officer.
police
that's
officer
not good, is
to
it?
do with the taxi incident. Yeah.
Verbal to police officer.
Yeah,
Verbaled.
yeah. So hurt his
God,
feelings.
me. Where are we headed?
No, she.
She'll get out.
Seriously.
She'll get out of bail, Dick and Ivan, Sam and Sue. She'll be out in bail the next day. Yeah.
No, she's not in jail, but she did spend one night in jail over there.
Is that like telling a cop to go F himself, isn't
I
it?
think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Now, so, Doug,
Yes.
So we have had in here Michael Warner, who wrote The Boys Club, which was about just on the start of the regime of McLaughlin, who, hand over fist, almost dismantled the AFL as we know it, and was on a DEI bent where he singled out Sheehan, Newman and Scott for daring to discuss why Nicky Winmar lifted his jumper all those years out at Victoria Park. I go on about that every time because he is a disgrace, McLaughlin, for posturing and inserting himself into crap. So that's him. So then, He is a disgrace. He is. So then Michael Warner has written a thing, and I hope Michael Warner's been listening to us. We've interviewed him here. I hope he's been listening to me. He probably has been, and I'm very glad that if he garnered anything out of what I've been saying for the last 4 years, he wrote an article in the Herald Sun today saying the AFL's hypocrisy is turning the fans off the game, and he's mentioned almost verbatim, not that he would need to take anything that I say verbatim, but exactly what we've been saying about how the AFL are inserting themselves into bullshit. Sanctioning umpires for dressing up as Bin Laden, going the GWS for an after match celebration, the moral grandstanding, them siding with The Voice, the gay marriage thing, the welcome to country, the DEI of North Melbourne, Collingwood, and the Hawthorn racism saga, which was a complete crock of made-up crap.
Yep.
The previous regime, as I said, started it when we were singled out for vilification for discussing why Nicky Winmar lifted his jumper. And he was fantastic calling out the competition run at this stage by Beavis and Butthead, that is Laura Kane and Andrew Dillon. Seriously, if someone doesn't take... And then we get on to the Australian Open Golf, run by James Sutherland, where we had the women, the men and disabled people playing on the one course in our most prestigious tournament. You can't make this shit up. Who is running sport in Victoria, and why is it allowed to happen? It is an absolute farce in a state that is desperately clinging to something. We got the most corrupt and dishonest government started by Andrews and perpetuated by Allen, the most corrupt and dishonest government probably in the history of the world, if you take Joe Biden, that crippled, dumb, staggering, syphilis-ridden fuckwit. If you take him out of the equation, Victoria leads the pack, and we can't get sport. The thing that we hang our hat on, we can't get sport to be run properly by our most popular sport, AFL, and a prestigious thing called the Australian Open Golf. They've fucked both of them up. This I say.
And the Com Games. We've lost the Com Games as well.
Well, that's the dishonesty of the previous government.
Did you say Joe Biden, Sam? Did you say Joe Biden?
We sure did, mate. Yep.
The stumbling, lying scumbag.
He died 6 months ago.
And his syphilis-ridden son, who is...
Young Hunter.
Hunter Biden. Yep. What a disgraceful family they are. They're peasants. They're inbred and they're ill-bred. Yep. And they fucking... I reckon they were. They came into being in a culture that they were invented in a test tube.
Hunter was the bag man, basically. He was the guy who collected the kickbacks.
Hey, Sam,
nothing more than insects.
Are you a Trump man, Sam? Are you a Trump man?
Well, I've heard that.
Yeah, I'm a Trump man. He is. He is about to.
Tell us about him.
Yeah, no, he's about to.
Don't do that, Dougie, please. Jeez. Now, can I skew the conversation? The IOC committee, the Olympic Committee, this morning has come out and they're a bit nervous about 2032 Queensland. They're worried about Queensland doing a recalibration of the games there, and I would say they're very nervous because of what happened with Dan Andrews and the Commonwealth Games, where he just said, no, delete.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think maybe they'll quit the Olympics?
Well, there's a growing wave of people that says, well,
we can't afford it.
We don't need it. Like, we don't want it. It's going to cost us an arm and a leg. But
it's the Olympics, though.
It's the Olympics. I think it'll go through. But the committee's worried about all this recalibration of grandstands and things like that. So we'll see what happens in the next few days.
So that I invite. I don't know. Invite people to read Michael Warner. He is a star, that man, and is not shackled by the fact that he gets intimidated to write puff pieces about the AFL. He calls it as it is, and he is calling them out. And the absolute insistence on carrying on with this welcome to country, which is a hoax. I've said this many times, nothing to do with racism, it's a hoax. And then we've got Jeff Clark, who was the head of ATSIC, the Aboriginal Torres Strait Islanders Commission. He's got 6 years jail for pinching $1 million from the group.
Yeah.
And his sons,
really
Aaron and Jeremy, are up on 1,000, not 100, 1,000 charges, criminal charges. And you worry about, you wonder why we're taking in, the
That's what
Aboriginal
really about.
activists have almost become an irrelevancy, because they just carry on with stuff that is not
just a
relevant
rort.
in our society. They're great people, but if they've stopped trying to pull, they're just playing everyone on a break, and no one's game to say it.
Well,
except us.
That's half the problem, because it's not as if we don't give enough money to the Aboriginal Foundation and for them to build what they need to build, but there's all these middle people where are just with their hands out.
It's not as if
and
there are not
just
Aborigines
siphoning
in
off.
need. There are, but the people in the middle are just rorting it. They just take all the funding, and as you can see, with Hunter Biden, who was like a bagman. Imagine this guy's son's a bagman, so they just steal the money.
They need
for
to throw
themselves.
the book at this guy.
I mean, it happens with a lot of charities. I hate to say, most of the money goes to the crooks involved, and then maybe 10 or 20% might actually get to the people, and that's the sad thing. And that's there needs to be reform in all these bodies, but it's not surprising.
Well, you'll
Now,
go ahead.
sorry, Sam, but boys, can I you got something to add to that, Sam? I just wanted to change tack a little bit.
Change tack, please, Doug.
I want to give Jacinda Ardern's government a backhander on the conditions of our roads. I drove up to Finley, New South Wales.
Yep.
I drove up to Finley, New South Wales on Saturday, which is 3.5 hours from Bacchus Marsh. And the potholes, and I don't like swearing, Sam, but it was a fucking joke. It was just disgraceful, dangerous. My suspension had to be fixed $500 when I got back to Bacchus Marsh. The potholes, it was just amazing. And you talk about danger and people getting killed on the roads. That is why. I'm telling you guys, I don't know if you agree with me or believe what I'm saying. The potholes from the Gambia into Shepparton and across to Tokemore into Finley was a fucking unbelievable.
Well, we'd like to give a shout out at this stage to our former friend. He is a friend, but used to be on the podcast. Don Scott, who brought this up, I reckon, when we first started this 4 or 5 years ago. He's been banging on about this, and we cajoled him and said, they're not that bad. He was spot on. And if anyone is taking notice, because Don mentioned it, who was ahead of the curve, and if anyone like Michael Warner has taken any notice of what we've been on about the AFL, how they get involved in the voice and gay marriage and the plebiscites, and without just telling everyone how to live their lives, and having to endure people in bearskins lighting sticks and standing with their heads bowed before a football game. And then at one stage they all stood round. If you remember when Black Lives Matter were the word of the day, Black Lives Matter being a domestic terror organisation.
Correct.
I watched at the start of a game about 4 years ago the footballers starting round, standing in a circle, having a circle jerk about Black Lives Matter with their heads bowed.
Yeah.
The fucking you couldn't believe that someone running the sport would sanction all that shit, but they do, and we put up with it. Now I'm asking about Don Scott, who was ahead of the curve on that. Now he's standing. I thought we should try and get him on and interview him. How'd that go, do you reckon? He's standing for the board on the Hawthorn Football Club. What do you think of that, Doug?
Well, I think that'd be good, Sam. He's a very, very passionate Hawthorn man. He was very, very
instrumental
and very vocal in the merger with Melbourne and Hawthorn back years ago. He's a 300-game champion, premiership player. Did he win a best and fairest? He wouldn't have.
No, he wouldn't have.
He might have won a best.
Lee won about 10, but anyway, Michael Tuck ran second 8 times. Can you believe that? That's amazing. So anyway, no, Sam. And by the way, just Sam touching on those potholes. In Finley, who's a famous family from Finley outside
Jack
of
Hawkins.
Jack Hawkins.
Yeah.
Jack Hawkins. And my niece was there.
Your knees.
Yes, she was crowned Miss Universe 18 years ago.
Oh, I thought you said your knees.
My
Your
niece.
knees.
No, my niece.
I
My niece.
thought you damaged your knees on the dashboard of the car when it hit a
No,
pothole.
Jennifer was there, Sam. Jennifer was there.
Jennifer Hawkins.
Yes, she's my niece.
She's your niece, and she has the same birthday as me.
Correctly. Can you see Jennifer Hawkins in Dougie Hawkins? Or can you
I'm
see Dougie Hawkins?
envisaging it now, Doug. You in Jennifer Hawkins. You probably need some steps to climb aboard, but other than that, I'm not sure that I can envisage that, Doug.
Hey, Dougie,
I'm sure that's legal.
one of your good mates is from Findlay, isn't he? Shane Crawford? Shane.
That silly little man.
Stupid little boy.
No, the Crofts from there, and Jack, and I reckon it was Robert too. Jack's brother played Sam. Robert? Sam?
Oh, Robert who?
Robert Hawkins. Is his brother
Tom?
Jack? He played with you?
Tom,
No,
yeah,
it's his
Jack.
son.
Yeah,
That's
Jack
his
was a
son.
bloody star. He played at centre
No,
half
but he had a brother, Sam, play a few as well. Robert Hawkins.
Oh, did he?
Jack's brother.
Oh, I
You
didn't
don't
know.
remember Sam?
Well, no, I don't think
Play with him.
I played with Jack. I didn't play with his brother.
Okay, I like to question that, but anyway, Robert and Michael.
I've never heard of Robert Hawkins.
Sue OAM.
Yeah, Dougie.
Google up Robert Hawkins, Geelong. And please,
If
see
he
how
played,
many games
if he played between 1963 and 1980, I'll be staggered.
Yep. All right.
Well,
Robert
in the
Hawkins,
seniors, because
Sue.
we didn't used to speak to people in the seconds or the reserves.
You didn't talk to him.
Nah,
Second class.
didn't even acknowledge them. Shit, no.
I think you better eat your words.
What,
He
when
played
did-
for Geelong.
When?
Robert.
Rob Hawkins, born in 57, is a former AFL rules player for Geelong.
Yeah.
In South Australia. He played.
How many games?
It says his weight. In 1984, he played.
Well, I didn't play with him.
He played 3 games.
He played 3 fucking games.
You've got a good memory, Doug.
Well, I finished in 1980, Doug, so I didn't play with him.
Well, you wouldn't have watched them. You'd have sat there and watched them at their home ground.
3
Home
games.
Sam,
Was he in the seniors? I didn't
No, he
even
didn't
know we
play
had a
many.
second. We never even know. Someone said,
Hey.
I'm playing in the seconds. I said, who for? He said, you Geelong. I said, oh, Jesus. So we didn't even know you had a
Original team was South Australia, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, but he's the brother. It's the brother of Jack and Michael, who's the uncle of Tom Hawkins.
So Don,
Thank you,
just
thank you,
getting
Sue.
back to
You're
Don.
welcome.
Don might put a cat amongst the pigeons, so to speak, because Hawthorn were bedevilled by the absolute crap that Alistair Clarkson and Chris Fagan had to put up with when the Indigenous lads there cited them for, I think they accused Alistair Clarkson for saying, oh, if you didn't want to play, get rid of your baby or kill it or abort it or do something, which was an absolute fucking lie. And they put up with that stigma and the president who used to play Gowers, he completely capitulated to all that nonsense. No one stood up to any of that crap. So let's hope Don, if he gets in, we might ask if we can interview you.
We absolutely will ask him to come.
I'll go through you. Sam said to Don, I'm
said-
asking you, Sam said, would you like to come on and be interviewed? Anyhow, so...
By the way, I have asked him before to be my guest. And
Where?
Here. And he said, no.
Yeah, no, that's right. Well, but we could genuinely
could
try and
try.
get him
All
on the
right.
board because he'd be, I don't know if he'd be good, but
Does it go to a vote amongst the
Of course
people?
it goes to a vote.
All right, so
Don.
that's
And
what
what do
he-
you think? Someone just nominates and they pull
Well,
it out
that's-
of a hat.
Well, it's AFL, isn't it? So that's normally what happens. They will just say, we nominate this person to be the next CEO or something like that. But okay, so if it's
On the board, yeah.
would the people be quite happy to see Don on the board?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So I want you to. Now, this is the country we're living in, or this will be the state that we're living. Have a listen to how many things can a government who are elected, they're nothing more than shit kickers, most of the politicians. They're just like, well, they're just like us. And someone votes them in, they suddenly get some authority and think, oh, this will be good. Have a listen to this. In South Australia, if you own a, let me tell you what it's called. It's called a, Jesus, where have I written that down? So, if you own a ultra high powered vehicle, a UHPV,
Yep.
you are which means if you have a car that's got an engine capacity that can get you into trouble because they don't think you can drive it, like a high-powered V12 or V8, depending on its weight to power to weight ratio, you in South Australia now have to go and get an endorsed license to say you can drive the car. Not only does it cost you to go and get tested for an endorsed license, then cost you money to get the endorsed license. So, can you believe that someone is now telling you that if you buy a high-powered car, that you have to be tested as to whether you can drive it? How much more can people infringe on your rights? If I have to go and I have a high-powered car, and if I have to go and get an endorsed license,
Is that relative for tourists who are driving through South Australia to go to Western Australia?
Very good point, Ivan. The tourists, I think, Sue, what happens with the tourists? We read about this yesterday.
No, they didn't say anything about the tourists, but they said that Victoria, New South Wales and Queensland were looking at to adopt the rules. And that the rule in South Australia came in on the 1st of December.
And
so
if you drive, and if you are driving on an interstate licence and you're driving through South
Adelaide.
Australia and you get sprung for an infringement, you'll do 6 demerit points on your licence and
like
get
about
fined $3,000
or something.
That's even if you're doing nothing wrong. That's just if you haven't got an endorsed licence. You might be doing something wrong. You might have been if you get an infringement.
Mind you, the courses are online.
I mean, we have a reputation for being like a kind of a free country of larrikins, but I reckon we have the most ridiculous nanny state laws than any other country on earth. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Absolutely, and this is what Michael Warner said about the poker machines. He said all the clubs are being virtuous and a new age and trying to ban poker machines and gambling in the clubs, and yet the online betting that is on football and advertised on all the football broadcasts is by those two. Oh, that bloke over in the African American basketball. What's his name over in America? The big guy that Shaq. That's right.
Yeah, that creep.
Shaq. Shaq.
No, he seems like a likable guy.
I didn't say he wasn't.
It's his business.
Did he party
he wasn't
aside?
a likable guy. I said he does the ads for the online betting here on football.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Okay.
Yeah, and yet they're trying to close down poker machines. This is the virtuous crap that we get.
Are you talking about the Australia Day?
We should talk about that. Yeah.
The clubs, some clubs in New South Wales, Victoria, are not
pubs.
Not going to celebrate Australia Day.
Yeah, because you've got pathetic, grovelling cowards.
Yep.
Pathetic, grovelling cowards.
Well, that's all right. We just don't go in there.
Well, I'll mention the ones not to go into.
Yeah, please do.
Well, I think they've rescinded their policy because people like us are complaining.
Pushing back, mate.
What about the insects that run these joints? Yep. The Hotham Hotel, the Imperial, the Melbourne Public, the Middle Park, the Morris, the Perseverance, the Paran, the Prince Albert, the Prince of Wales, the Richmond Club, the River's Edge, the Skinny Dog, the State of Grace, the Studley Park, the Swan Hotel, the Terminus, the Abbotsford, the Bridge Hotel. All those people pretended they were being virtuous and didn't want to have Australia Day celebrations. They should actually get the people who are firebombing the tobacconists to go and firebomb all those hotels.
Bruce, they've got a bit of work. They're going to need more employees.
There's been 110 fire bombings of tobacco stores. Wouldn't you reckon the coppers or someone could eventually say, "Oh, this looks like it's a bit of a trend. We might."
What is behind that? What is the reason for all that?
This looks like a bit of a trend. After the 110th firebombing, they might say at headquarters, police headquarters, "Shit, I reckon something's going on here. Why don't we man And in the few remaining tobacconists that are up and running, why don't we have a vigilante campaign, see if we can spring someone driving a car through the shop front window of and firebombing it. How hard would that be?
That was magic.
It's like following it'd be like following an elephant through the snow with bleeding piles.
Wow.
It's
Hey,
easier.
that is magic, Sam. Fair dinkum. They firebomb the fucking pub.
Well, see if they can just swing into some other action instead of firebombing the tobacconists. Have a crack at the
there's
pubs.
not that many tobacconists left, so they need to branch out.
That's right. They need to diversify.
But Bruce Matheson,
Multi-skill, multitask.
Bruce Matheson came out and had a go at him. No, he's been on the show, obviously.
Bruce Matheson said it was appalling that they have that little respect for the country that they live in and made a very healthy standard of living out of. He said that.
And that's great. And obviously he owns a bunch of pubs, so just go to his pubs. There you go.
Oh, well, don't go to the ones I mentioned.
Yep.
If you're going to remember them.
Just look it up online.
Sam, that's exciting violence, Sam. That is exciting violence.
Oh, no, I'm not exciting. Did you say exciting? I'm not exciting or I'm not inciting violence, Doug. I'm saying if the people who concentrate on firebombing the tobacconists, if they've run out of tobacconists, maybe they could multitask and go and do that to the pubs. I'm not saying they should, but if they need to firebomb something, start with the pubs that are not celebrating Australia's Day.
Oh dear.
That's all I'm saying.
Not touching that one.
No.
Hey, can we give a shout out, Sam?
Yes.
Shout out time.
Please.
Yeah, I've got a young bloke down here at work called Jake with Costello. He's a fantastic young man. He does an outstanding job.
Doing
and
what?
A fine leader. He leads here. He works here. He's a carpenter.
Where's here?
This is in Coffin Road, Kew.
No, Doug.
Hansett Yankett job. What's that?
Yankin, did you say?
Hansett Yankett.
Hanson Yankin, yep. So,
it's a private hospital here. And,
people listening to this want to know where this fine young man, what's his name?
Jake.
Jake works.
Yeah.
Does he work for the CFMEU or is he a
he's with the
union
Costello.
leader? Or, what is he?
No, he works for Costello. They are a building company. He is a fine leader. He listens to Ukapi series every Wednesday night on his way home.
Religiously.
And I just wanted to give him a cheer out and a very cheer out to him and, of course, Adam and Brian from Hansett Yank. Now, Sam, just to finish on that.
Yes, Doug.
Our great mate Johnny Barnes.
Yes.
Shout out to Johnny Barnes.
What's happened to him?
He's been elected to the council of Moonee Valley. The Moonee Valley Council. He's a councillor, John Barnes.
The race club?
What's that?
The race club?
No, as a councillor.
It's an council.
I see. I see.
So he's actually a council member. He's a council delegate.
And what's his platform? What does he campaign on?
What does he stand for?
Yes. What's his campaign for?
Yep.
He stands for equal opportunities for both sexes.
I see. DEI he's into, is he?
Yeah.
Don't get a job on your merits. You get it on
your bullshit.
Your age, your gender, your skin colour, and whether you're a trans. Is that it? Yeah. That's exactly what's wrong with the country.
Barzy's been elected, and I think he'll be a fine councillor.
I see, because he's into DEI.
You'll fit in with everybody else.
Yeah, you'll have overweight people driving right on mowers who can't drive them and wonder why they're having accidents. But no, they fitted the DEI profile, so we'll give them a job, even though they can't drive or have no idea what they're doing. Ivan, Dougie,
you've got to come back to work, Dougie.
Just quickly.
Come back.
Shut up, Doug, please.
Oh, what's that?
Just quickly, Ivan said he went into Maya. Did you? Have a listen to this, Doug. This is where we're headed. If you drive a high-powered car, you're going to have to get an endorsed license.
Yep.
If you want to go and have a drink at a pub, you can't go to some of them because they're not celebrating Australia Day. Have a listen to this.
Dougie, you're a man about town, so you'll know, you'll identify with this. I went into a DFO yesterday, into a Nike store. So I'm just walking around. Yep. One thing that caught my eye, would I've never noticed before, the mannequins. The mannequins, they must be
Plus
size, plus size.
Plus.
They're enormous.
How come they took your eyes on the plus side and not when they're actual thin and slim?
Oh, yeah, maybe I
That
go
says
that way.
something
do
about
I?
Ivan.
No, but they're enormous. Like, I don't think there'd be too many people in Victoria.
And we're
And that's-
talking breast, are we, Ivan? You're
No,
talking breast,
the
right?
whole lot, mate. The whole box and dice.
Sort of Lizzo size,
Yeah.
that American rapper.
Yeah.
It's sort of
They've got
morbidly obese.
Now, is that PC? Like I can't say. Well, I said to a few people yesterday. I said, "This is ridiculous. I don't want to see this."
No.
And some people said, "Well, yeah, you can't say that."
We
let's,
can, we
let's
just didn't.
make sure that we are saying it. So why would you want to go into a Nike store or any store and see obese porkers dressed up in mannequins, whether they're men or women? What are you trying to prove? The fact that your clothes fit oversized, you're fit if you're obese. If you have slim models, men and women
absolutely.
looking good, you could identify with that and say, shit, I reckon if I lost a bit of weight, I could actually end up looking like that rather than, oh no, I've let myself go. I've had a couple of big summers. I haven't pushed the groceries away for a long time. Let's see if I can wear a circus tent that Nike have got a swish on, and I'll go home and people say, shit, you look fantastic. And in fact,
No, they won't.
and they'll say, look, be honest, how do I look? They'll say, you look like a fucking idiot. Seriously. Oh, but there's another piece of crap we're beset by.
It's true.
I want to hear what Sue says. Sue is completely different to us.
Sue's the expert.
Well, I suppose if I look at a mannequin and it looks good, and I think on a slim mannequin, I think, well, that would look good on me.
Yeah.
However, I'm only 1% of the country, and there are a lot of people who are obese, and they want to see what they look like in that outfit. So you've got to see. There's always
No, you
three
don't.
sides of the story.
No,
absolutely.
it's just absolute
We
projection.
just don't like
They're evolving
large
into
people.
being virtuous.
I
with
think
the
it's
cow.
okay.
You're
It's
okay with
not
it?
It's okay.
Sue gives it the tick.
All right.
Well, what happens if people have got oversized feet and someone's got something wrong with their feet and they wear size 18 shoes? Are we going to sell Nike runners with 18? And they say, oh, well, some people have got big feet, so
Well,
what
I
do you
think
think?
it's almost
What do
a
they say
public
about-
health issue.
What do they say about people with big feet?
But it is really a public health issue because being bigger is bad for your health, right? So,
Doug, saying, Doug,
is he gone? What's he doing?
you better go, hadn't you? You better go, hadn't
Copy,
you?
Doug.
No, hey,
You better go, hadn't you?
I've got to go, Sam.
Yeah, you've already given a shout out to your employer. So before he sacks you, before Yankin and Rosewell sack you, you better go.
Hanson Yankin.
Hanson Yankin. Who's Yankin Rosewell?
Handsome
All right,
yanking.
good on you, mate.
Love you guys.
See ya, mate.
Love you.
Love
you.
Love you.
Love you,
Love you.
Dougie.
Love you all.
Again.
Lovely
Thank
as
you,
all.
Doug. So no, that's just that is just sheer projection. Seriously.
Yeah.
No, I think you know, when you encourage being overweight, it's a bad thing in the sense that you should be thinner, and that I think someone pointed out to me, fat shaming isn't so bad because it encourages people to
I'd like
lose
to
weight.
see you manhandle it, though.
Yeah, I like to. What's that?
A mannequin.
The amount of
You wouldn't be
plastic
able
that
to-
went into it is just
Really?
incredible.
I mean, that's not that environmentally friendly, surely.
The plastics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if
The excess
Nike
plastic.
and all the other shoe manufacturers could possibly do the right thing and not get under 12 kids over in Bangkok or Bali or in China
Vietnam.
or in the sweatshops to make their shoes
Yep.
and their clothing, that would go far. They would have far more diplomacy and far more credibility if they stopped getting their shoes made by people who get $1 a month.
Why can't we make them here and pay our own people?
Oh no, because the bottom line is affected, but they can spend money on building big mannequins and trying to show that we're
The government
responsible.
can get involved.
I think what was good yesterday, they had it right up against a size 4 mannequin, so it make the plus size one look even bigger.
Yep, they're
There it is.
just selling their soul. And then finally we had Kim Williams, who's the hapless chairman of the ABC. He started to criticise Joe Rogan. Because Joe was actually interviewing people with some substance.
Exactly.
And they didn't like the answers or the questions that he.
Like if they ever had
Kim
you on,
Williams, you dopey dumb. You're just
idiot.
Nothing more than a journeyman, mate. You're seeing the our ABC.
Have they ever had you on the ABC? Have they ever had you on the ABC on Q&A or one of those shows?
I'd love to go on the ABC.
I know. Why won't they let you?
No, because they wouldn't be game.
Well, he was on the ABC about
squibs.
3 weeks ago on that Midnight Oil special, and that was a grab of...
They spend 10 minutes welcoming people to the country.
Did they?
Yeah, they do. They do that. It's just projection crap. Anyhow, there we are. So, anything else?
Speaking about crap, here's one that
South Korea is collapsing. If that's interesting,
Yeah, martial law. Why?
Martial law.
Yeah, martial law.
I don't know what's going on there. I mean, but I suspect that there's a lot of weird stuff happening before Donald Trump takes charge. Obviously, they've been lobbing all these missiles into Russia, trying to escalate the war so that it's maybe so big a war by the time Trump gets in that they can't stop it. And it seems like maybe South Korea is collapsing, which means the North might do something. I don't know. I mean, because obviously Kim Jong-un, that's his name, isn't it?
Yes.
Has had his eyes on the South because obviously it's quite wealthy. I've been to South Korea and it's really, pretty beautiful and well run and incredible. Seoul. I've been to Seoul. Yep. Film
Seoul.
festival there. Seoul.
Yeah, so Trump will have to make another visit to North Korea and meet his very dear friend Kim Jong-il.
Little rocket man.
Little rocket man. He'll have to go over to Russia and meet his very close companion. And what he'll say to Putin is, he said, mate, if you don't strike a deal with Ukraine, we will advise the NATO countries, unless America wants to pull out, we'll advise the NATO countries not to buy your oil or your gas. We'll bankrupt you. And then if NATO don't comply with that, then Trump will pull out of NATO and he won't fund them because he funds about 80% of them. Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works.
And see, Trump's into like economic warfare, but not into like real warfare in the sense of like lobbing bombs at people. And that is the way. That's the real diplomatic way.
That doesn't make money. That doesn't make wars. Contrary to whatever.
Yeah, but I know there are these vampires.
What's that, Ivan? Please say that.
Wars make money, is what he's saying.
Wars do not make money, so that's why Trump
do make money.
For whom?
For America, we'll say that.
No, because the what do they call it? The
military-industrial complex.
That's exactly what they call it, Dickie.
I know.
The military-industrial complex is funded by the people who make all the laws. The rich billionaires and the Bushes and the Dick Cheneys and the Warhawks, and their investments are tied up in making munitions and tanks and armaments. And Trump's
that's okay to make them, manufacture them, have as many as you want. But Trump's idea is there's no need to go in and put boots on the ground because that's a money killer.
Diplomacy is peace through strength. He says we've got as big an army in the world as anyone, but we don't want to use it. But here's a deterrent: if you step out of line or if you don't come to the table and try and resolve all this, like he said with the hostages, give the hostages back, or you won't know what's hit you.
Yeah, exactly, and that will scare them enough that they will return them. You see what I mean? It's leadership. Yep.
I wonder if someone could tell Kim Williams from the ABC if they could actually have a fair, not a one-sided commentary on what's going on politically.
I mean, couldn't they have one show on the ABC that has a conservative hosting it? Just one. Because every other show is not. You know what I mean? Is left-wing leaning.
Anyhow.
All right, I've got one here. So have you heard of this one? A banana was duct taped to a wall and it was sold for $6.2 million at auction in New York.
Wouldn't a banana go off?
It will. So the guy that...
Wasn't it done before? Hasn't this...
Someone did that as a joke, I thought.
I think, like last year or something like that.
Okay.
The destruction of art is another part of the way that they're destroying Western civilization, because art is like... it's when it was the great art of Western civilization, it's a symbol of beauty, something we all look up to and aspire to. Yep. But today's art,
it's a con, mate. It's a con. So how?
So the guy that's bought it is a cryptocurrency founder, Justin's son.
Yeah.
So he's paid $6.2 million
crypto dollars.
I like the original question of Dickie is what if they've embalmed it? Have they? How does it go off?
No, the guy's bought it. He's got the certificate of art to say that he's bought it and he's going to eat it. So he's bought the rights. He's bought the rights to
Eat the banana.
No, he's bought the rights to sort of like paint, and if you put a banana on the wall with some duct tape, well, you're going to have to pay him a fee.
Couldn't we do our own?
What did you say, Ivan? Say that again.
If you want to,
He's bought a banana.
He's bought the rights to putting a banana on a wall with electrical duct tape, grey. And if you want to do that and call that art, well, no, that's.
I think I know where you can stick his banana.
Let's hope if he becomes ill, it's nothing trivial, and he drops off the edge of the planet. Yeah. What is this?
I think there's a group of people we could
having a lendibus.
Maybe we could speak to like Elon Musk and send a few of these people on a one-way trip to the sun and say, "What do you think on a rocket?"
Okay, well now finally from me, Sue.
Yes. What have you got?
This is Dick. Not Dick. Your Dick.
Yep.
Your Dick. This is
Dick on the mind.
This is MichaelChristianMenswear.com. He wants me to give a shout out to Darren Rix, R-I-X.
Rixie boy.
Not Rex.
Rixie.
Yeah, Rixie.
Rixie.
Do you know Rixie?
No.
Darren Rix. He runs Avis, which is a rent-a-car company. Yep. Did you know that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. He runs Avis in Ballarat, Bendigo, Mildura and Footscray. He is obviously the regional manager of Avis. And I wonder if Dazza rents out electric cars. Do the rent-a-car companies rent out electric cars?
Yes.
They do, but they're pulling back. They're pulling back.
Because they don't work very well.
Complete electric cars, do they?
Not completely, no.
No, they were trying to
hybrid,
dip
are they?
No, you can try and rent one. Yeah, but it's a very small.
Tesla.
Yeah. There's different ones as well.
Yeah. So completely electric. So
Well.
if you're in Footscray and want to drive up to Mildura in an electric car from Avis, you won't get there.
No, you'll need about 3.
Yeah, that's right. So I wonder if he provides
Stage them along the way.
I wonder if he provides in the boot a little portable generator to charge up the battery that runs on petrol.
So that'd be a side business too, wouldn't it? Just going around collecting customers' cars when they've run out.
That's right. We're having a portable generator just charge them up. It'd be like, yeah.
Could I give a shout out to an alcohol sponsor? We've got an alcohol sponsor for the Melbourne Underground Film Festival.
Hang on a minute.
No.
What's the sponsorships?
Where's our cut?
Yeah, all right. I'll get you some beer.
You get us some beer.
Sure.
Well, I don't drink.
Well, okay. You can give it to your friends on the boat.
Go on. Come
Two
on.
Brothers Brewery. There you go. That's it.
Two Brothers Brewery.
Yep. They've sponsored Muff this year with our alcohol, so that's just nice.
Where do they make it?
I don't know where they make it.
So you
actually.
have no idea who's sponsoring you?
Well, I mean, actually, it was organised by
Luke. They could be
from
just laundering drug money. You have no idea who they are.
Maybe. Good luck.
Two Brothers Beer.
Two Brothers Brewery. So thank you for sponsoring us this year. That's it.
And you don't know where it's made? Is it
in
lager?
Victoria.
Is
Made
it
in
pale
Victoria.
ale?
It's made in Victoria.
Where?
I don't know where, but it was organised by Luke from the venue. So Black Sheep Hawthorne, you're giving me a hard time. Now.
Two Brothers Beer. Any announcements, Ivan?
Anything else, Ivan?
No.
Any other large mannequins?
You didn't happen to buy Don Bradman's one of his many caps last night, but when you were sleeping, were you?
That's another thing, isn't it? How would you know how would you know that that's his hat?
Well, yeah.
Can we get it DNA tested?
How do they authenticate
20 of them? There's 20 of them out
How
there.
do they authenticate these artefacts? Sports artefacts and things. I mean, is there an authentication process? There must be.
So your mate, the great Shane Warne, he had his go at auction in 2020, and that went for $1 million. This one last night went for $390,000.
So they must. So the people just take the word that it's the cap, unless you can actually have it forensically tested and say there's DNA of Don Bradman in this cap.
His blood is in there.
Yeah.
Well, his
sweat
follicle, hair follicle.
Apparently, this one last night was given to the Indian groundskeeper as a souvenir back in 1948. and
and
he's kept it.
the Indian groundkeepers come forward and just wild. Oh, shit!
They slept in 50 bucks.
100 of them.
You were
have
going
actually.
well until you said there's an Indian man, groundkeeper's got one of his caps. Oh, yes.
Yeah, now he's thinking.
We'd believe that. So, and just on a final note, the great Neil Fraser left us. The great left-handed Davis Cup. We used to go and watch him play down at Kooyong in the 60s. The great Neil Fraser, and he was a compatriot of
Sport
yours.
Australia Hall of Fame. Yeah, he was there. He
compatriot,
ran this.
that's what
Yes,
I'm saying.
but he also he was CEO or general manager of it at the time, and he was also a mentor to the scholarship program as well. I got him as a mentor. He just loved it. When I teamed him up with one of our young athletes, to look the smile on his face, he was just in awe of this young athlete. Just to be a mentor with him, and that was in his older years, and he was just such a beautiful man.
He was.
Star.
I didn't know him well, but I knew him. And you are the get the microphone, please. You're the chair, are you not, of the? Tell me what you are.
No, I've been the chair of
Now
the
tell
Sport
me what-
Australia Hall of Fame scholarship program.
Scholarship program.
Yeah, for 18 years now. So
Yes.
it is so. Absolutely an amazing program from Sport Australia Hall of Fame, which some young kids get a mentor from a sport. It doesn't have to be the same sport, so they could be someone under 21 years of age. So a surfer could have a athlete as a mentor, so that doesn't have to be the same sport, which is generally good. They just chat about life and ups and downs, and I suppose it's a fantastic program.
Off the top of your head, can you think of any famous names that have come through the program?
Scholarship program.
Tori, the sprinter, who was just in the Olympic Games.
Yep.
She had Dawn Fraser as her mentor. So roughly, generally, about 3 or 4 of them out of the 6 go to the Olympics, get selected.
Yep.
Yeah, and go on to be
Fraser
gold
was
medals.
one of the tennis greats. I played a lot of tennis growing up, and
You played a lot of tennis, did you, Dick?
I did actually.
Did
Sam.
you? My
I was
good
actually
God.
ranked in Victoria when I was 16. Believe it or
Were
not.
you?
You'd be good at pickleball now.
I would be good at pickleball. I'm not so good at tennis anymore, sadly. But I was really sporty when I was young, which is thank God for that, because maybe that's why I'm still alive.
Well, if you need a job, there's a Nike store.
Yeah,
I'm
that's right.
joking.
Oh,
I'm joking.
whoa,
Jeez, that's
whoa.
terrible.
Below the belt. I'm the middle one.
On one of the others, a sad moment for one of our locals, Lenny Hunter.
Oh, Len
Len,
Hunter. What a-
94, 95 years of age.
Hunter's products,
Yeah.
Hunter's cleaning products.
Passed away
Lenny.
on the 28th of the 11th
too.
of November.
Used to be known as Mr. Pinaclean, didn't he?
He did. And
Mr. Pinaclean.
And an absolute dyed-in-the-wool Bulldog supporter.
great. Yeah.
Bulldogs.
You couldn't chat to him about anything else except the Bulldogs.
Absolutely beautiful man. I
he
think
was
he's got
too.
the service on at the Sandringham Yacht Club. 2 o'clock, I think, on next Tuesday.
All right, kids. Well, we've had Jeff Fennick and Wayne from Bangkok. We've spoken to Gigi. Have a listen to that for an interview. And if I often get out of my depth with people I speak to because I'm, as I said to her, only partially educated. But if you can make any sense of any of the questions I asked her, and more importantly, she was fantastic. She gave all the answers that someone would understand. I tried hard, and I'm glad I spoke to her because she put me on a completely different path to what life's about.
Sounds cosmic.
Cosmic, and we've just had Doug and Dick and Ivan here and Sue, and it's been another whirlwind session of You Cannot Be Serious, and that's it.